Okay, I want to ask what exactly you worked on in Transformers 1. Like, when we see the end product, can I rent the DVD and go, hey, I've just interviewed that guy who just did that. You know, what exactly did you work on?
Okay, the thing that comes closest to exactly like that was the robot Starscream.
Oh, beautiful.
So yeah, he looks pretty much exactly like the way I drew him. Other than that, I worked on actually a lot of sets, so like the Pentagon sets. I worked on a lot of storyboarding, like Bumblebee getting his leg blown off, and the early stuff where the kids running around, the robots fighting. That's all the early stuff.
I didn't know you actually did the conceptual design for Starscream, but I want to ask personally, why did you stray away from the original Starscream, like how we're going to be all used to the Starscream? Why with the small chicken legs and the big wing? What made you stray far away from it?
I guess a couple of reasons. One, the director himself. No directors want to do a derivative of something else, right? So the first thing he did is, I don't want this movie to look like toys.
Yep.
That's understandable. It has to look cool. And another reason is, I believe Bay has a lot of close ties to the U.S. Army, with the Air Force and all that kind of stuff. So you definitely want to show off what they got. If you watch the film, you notice they have like C-130s and all these cool military stuff that are very real. So the YF-22 is a very high, hot plane right now, right? The Raptor, even though it's canceled right now, I think. But it was very high at the time. So it's like, how can we feature that? And then once we take that, I look at the design, and as a designer, we have to analyze the shapes. You can't just make a random robot. You know, we can't take the old F-15, I think that's what the Starscream was, and adopt it, because the YF-22 is a very different design. It's very triangular, right? It's very belly heavy, top heavy. So when I did the design, I followed that down to his fingers and his little toes. They all have the little stealthy, 45, 35 degree triangles all throughout his body. So that's a different language. When I say language, that's what I mean. It's like speaking English, speaking Indian, speaking any language. Design is his own language. So that's what makes certain good things good, because people understand what's actually happening.
The design's a little bit too busy, they're too real.
Yeah, I mean, at first, when we're in the art department, we saw all of them laid out. I believe at the time we had way more than what the film actually had. Because back then there was like not that much budget concern, so we're doing like a ton of robots, not just the ones you see. And they started to look quite busy, even to myself. However, the whole point of a film is to entertain, especially something like Transformers. And I think on that level, it totally works. Right? When you watch the film, then you realize all those parts of that. For the general audience, especially something like Transformers, it works really, really well. Because you kind of imagine this film can't just cater to guys like us who grew up with Transformers. You have to cater to a much bigger audience. Like Hollywood works that way. When a budget is a certain thing, like $200 million, you better make a lot more back. And if you make a lot more back, that means you have to cater to a bigger segment, right? If your film only costs like $50 million, then you go, okay, let's only cater to age 18 to 35. Then you just make hardcore, nerdy, goofy stuff. But when the budget's that huge, you better get the 7-year-olds all the way down to your 95-year-old. So you have to broaden the design. You have to make it so it caters to everyone. I think on that level, this film is quite successful. It's entertaining.
So it has to be cool and smart, and that's what Michael Bay did.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, his films make a lot of money in that reason, because I have a high respect for him, because he's able to take these films and they generate so much revenue. Right? And that's one way to look at success as well. So he knows how to make films cool. Right? You watch Transformers, this is a very cool film. And that's not easy to pull off. A lot of people can think, oh man, I can make something that cool. Try it. It's really, really hard,
So is it safe to say that Starscream is sort of your baby? Because he saw it through and he didn't go too many, cuts?
Yeah. He made it quite, most films are that. When the director is usually that prove something, you don't really want to change it, because then you could risk the problem of like, hey, come in the meeting, why you change the design I prove, right? Especially something like Star Wars. If George says okay, it pretty much exactly ends up like that in the film, because nobody wants to take the blame for changing something he liked, right?